I want to give you guys my best bets for week 1 of the upcoming college football season. All of these games are what I'm going to be putting on my 5-leg parlay this weekend. So if you guys end up utilizing these picks and they end up working out for you, give me a shout out on the gram, on X. If they don't work out for you, it's not like you're losing money by yourself. We're in this together. I wouldn't give you any bets that I wouldn't put my own personal money on myself. I'm going to start off with Alabama. I love them minus 31.5 at home against Western Kentucky. I understand the reluctantness or being reluctant to bet on these big point spreads in week 1, but this is a good chance to take advantage of point spreads this big because the gap between Alabama and Western Kentucky is like a landslide. And with them playing in Tuscaloosa, it's hard to see Western Kentucky's offense doing too much. And this is the first game of the Kalen DeBoer era at Bama. And with the kind of offense that Kalen DeBoer runs, it's perfectly tailored towards Jalen Milroe's strength, which is throwing the football very well, deep, outside of the numbers. Alabama is loaded at wide receiver. They're going to have the best offensive line that they've had in the last 4 to 5 years. I feel confident that Alabama covers this spread by halftime, and they should win this game pretty much by like 7 or 6 touchdowns. I'm taking Alabama to win like 60-7. Maybe Western Kentucky gets a garbage time touchdown with the last couple of minutes in the fourth quarter when Alabama has their third stringers in, but I love Alabama minus 31.5 at home against Western Kentucky. Colorado, I'm taking them minus 10 against North Dakota State at home. This game is going to be played this Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. A few weeks ago, Colorado started out as a touchdown favorite in this game. They were like a 7.5 point favorite. And over the last couple of days, this line has steadily started to rise up a little bit. And now they're a double-digit favorite. There's a good group of people that really believe that North Dakota State is going to pull off the upset. And I'm not ruling that out. But Colorado is a way better team this year than what they were last year. And that's being too overlooked or too commonly overlooked when people talk about this game. And North Dakota State is not the powerhouse that they used to be. You know, their rival, South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits, they've now started to cement themselves as a powerhouse at the FCS level. With the talent that Deion has brought in from the portal, improving the offensive line, overhauling the defense, especially the D-line, Colorado offensively should be able to outscore North Dakota State with ease. Even if North Dakota State is able to hang around with Colorado for the first half, eventually Colorado is going to pull away because I don't see North Dakota State's defense being able to slow down Shedeur Sanders in that passing attack because North Dakota State doesn't have the depth at corner needed to slow down how deep Colorado is at wide receiver. They're like 5-6 guys deep, and I trust Colorado with their new defensive coordinator to get a couple of stops or two in this game to make this a 2-possession win for Colorado. So give me Colorado minus 10. I love them to win 45-27. It's my final score prediction for this game. I'm taking Miami minus 2.5 on the road in the swamp. Listen, I've been telling you guys for the last couple of weeks that Florida is not that good of a team as what they look like on paper. Billy Napier is the sole reason why I don't like Florida this year. If you had a better head coach, let's say you had Kalen DeBoer, not only would I take you to win this game, but I would take you to possibly win 7, maybe 8 games potentially, right? And we know that this game is probably going to be close. It's probably going to come down to the last possession, who gets the ball last. I love Miami to at least be able to win by a field goal. And I'm pretty confident that Miami should probably win by a touchdown or so. I don't think this game is going to be a blowout, but I do think that Miami is obviously the more talented team. I believe that they do have the slight coaching advantage as well. And Billy Napier is 2-10 against top 25 teams at Florida. I know Florida has like this crazy home opener win streak, but you know what they say about streaks, they're meant to be broken. And Miami's going to come into the Swamp and take care of business. I love them to win outright, and I love them to cover the points as well. Next up, I got Houston minus 2.5 at home against UNLV. This is a tricky game because UNLV, they do return a lot of their production from last year's squad, and they were pretty good in 2023. They won 9 games, I believe. They lost to Boise State in the Mountain West Conference Championship game. But Houston has a new head coach. They get rid of Dana Holgorsen, and they replace him with Willie Fritz, who has served as the head coach for Tulane for the last couple of years. And it's not like Houston doesn't have any talent at all to be good this year. They do have Donovan Smith back at quarterback. I think that he has the potential to end up being one of the better quarterbacks in the Big 12 this year. They got a good group of wide receivers. Their offensive line is a concern. Defensively, you don't know what Houston's going to look like on that side. But even with this potentially being a high-scoring game, I love Houston to still be able to pull out the win because I do think that they do have the slight talent edge over UNLV and Willie Fritz. I trust him in a game like this against Barry Odom. Barry Odom has showed us that he can be a more than capable coach at pulling off these kinds of upsets. When the spread is this small, it's for a reason. And I believe that UNLV beat 2 Power 5 teams last year. They beat Kansas in their bowl game, and they also beat Vanderbilt early last year. And with Houston not really being that great, if you were to compare Houston to the rest of the Power 4 teams out there, they probably would be near the bottom. But I see them having enough to take care of UNLV at home. This isn't going to be a blowout. I'll be surprised if Houston wins this game by more than a touchdown. I expect it to be close. UNLV has a pretty good quarterback that they got from Holy Cross. So this is going to be a back and forth game, but Houston should be able to pull it out and sneak out that 2.5 points. They should cover that. So I love UNLV to lose. 48-42 is going to be my final score prediction. And lastly, I'm taking Boston College plus 15.5 against Florida State. I don't see Boston College winning this game, but I don't see them getting blown out. With the style that Florida State is going to be playing offensively, pretty much prioritizing the run game, being a run-first team, they're not going to be a team that's going to put up a lot of points in bunches unless they just maul you on the ground. Boston College returns a lot of experience from last year, and they got a new head coach in Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien is not no slouch. If you keep up with the NFL, you know that he had some success as the head coach in Houston until he became the GM and pretty much destroyed the team, trading away everybody. But before he became the head coach of the Texans, he saved Penn State football. And I'm about to get into a dark subject, but after the whole Jerry Sandusky incident, I mean, it looked like Penn State was never going to be a good football program again. And the reason why they're in the situation that they're in right now under James Franklin is thanks to Bill O'Brien. Too many people think that Penn State is where they're at because of James Franklin, when Bill O'Brien, built the stairs for James Franklin to be able to crawl and be able to walk on them to help Penn State propel themselves to one of the better teams in college football, consistently winning 9-10 games every year. But with them having Thomas Castanello at quarterback, it makes things really interesting for Florida State defensively because they struggled when they had to go up against Haynes King, who is a pretty good dual threat quarterback. And Thomas Castanello, I mean, this dude is really dynamic with the ball in his hands. And Bill O'Brien was the OC during the Bryce Young era at Alabama. Thomas Castanello, he doesn't have the exact same skill set as Bryce Young, but Bill O'Brien is going to learn how to build an offense around this dude's strengths. They got a pretty decent offensive line. And Florida State, with their struggles against the run last week against Georgia Tech, I expect that to continue with you going up against one of college football's most athletically gifted quarterbacks. So I love Florida State to win, but I love Boston College to cover in this game. So these are my college football week 1 best bets. Go ahead, put these on a $5 parlay. I'm pretty confident a lot of these are going to end up hitting. I'm pretty confident all of these are going to end up hitting. I got a pretty good track record when it comes to week 1 of the college football season. Over the last couple of years, I've always gone 5-0. And I love these slate of games. There aren't too many underdogs that I love this week, but I do love Boston College with the fact that they kind of have an offense a little bit similar to what Georgia Tech has in terms of having a super dynamic dual threat quarterback, a capable running back, and you return a lot of production from last year.